final session of the Career Booster series. Today's session is titled Career Decision Making with Confidence. And if you're new here or if you haven't been to the three previous sessions, we've had a lovely Career Booster event series that was happening with myself and the British Council during July and August. The first session was about working in the UN and applying to entry-level jobs in the UN. The second session was about how you can use AI for career development. The third session was about how to write your CV and LinkedIn profile for impact. And then today is the fourth and final session, and it's about career decision making with confidence. I chose the topics for all the sessions. The reason that I chose this specific topic was that when I was maybe 10 years ago, when I was getting into university to do my bachelor's degree, I felt I lacked guidance. I was totally lost. I did not know what career to choose for myself. I didn't understand the job market or that there was something called the job market. I just knew that after school I had to get into university. This cost me a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of wrong choices. I do not regret my decisions per se because I'm happy with where I am right now. But I do not want you to make the same mistakes that I did. So this is why we're doing the session today. Let me just share the correct screen. One second. Um, Let me share this screen, and then it will be easier for everyone to see. Now it's better, right?
Yes, Rawan,
Okay,
can see your
perfect.
screen. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So just for the purposes of intro, maybe you can tell me in the chat your name and your country and how you ended up in your current career. So for example, you can say, my name is Sarah, I am from Ethiopia, and I ended up as an accountant because my dad was an accountant. Or however, maybe you were so passionate about it as a child, maybe you were pressured by a sibling or somebody in your family that entered this specific career. So tell me how you ended up in your current career. I'm Haggard Egyptian. I work as an AI engineer because it's my passion and I hate software development. Okay, good. Yenka from Nigeria. I wanted an industry job, but I ended up in academia. How did you end up in industry, Yenka? Sanya, I live in Uganda and I'm a study abroad consultant inspired by my own study abroad journey in the UK. I love it. Asma, passionate about it, assistant professor, great. Serene from Kenya, I'm a lawyer by profession. I always wanted to be a lawyer since I was 11. Amazing. I love these stories. They're not frequent, by the way. They're not as frequent as you think. Nuran from Egypt, fresh pharmacy graduate, and I chose pharmacy because I'm passionate about chemistry and medication and healthcare. Okay, people choosing out of passion. Great. Somaya from India, currently a cultural and communications manager. How did you end up there, Somaya? It sounds like a nice, fancy job. Namatama from Zambia, I ended up in my current career of gender, women, peace and security because it has always been my passion since childhood. Great. Hanan from Egypt, digital entrepreneurship and innovation consultant. Okay, how did you end up there? Last one that I'm reading, Richard from Ghana. I'm the first telecom engineer. I'm a project manager. That's the position after a master's, and I love it, bringing things into existence. Amazing. Okay, great. Somebody from Lesotho. I don't think I had somebody from Lesotho attend before. Sato. I'm a forensic scientist. Very passionate about it. Great. So some people are very passionate. Some people chose it because of family. Some people knew what they wanted to do since they were children. Uh, some people got into the field by chance. Some people, it was by trial and error. The point is, everybody has a different career path, right? But there is a science to how you can know your career path, even if it's not so clear, and make the correct choices for yourself. This session is also going to be helpful if you are helping other people. So, say you have a younger sibling, somebody in your network that feels a bit lost, and these people are more than you think, or you want to shift careers. This session can also be helpful for you if you feel unsatisfied by your current career. So, my name is Rowan. I am volunteering with the British Council. I am the ambassador for decent work and economic growth, which is the United Nations Development Goal number 8. I'm very passionate about this, although I am a volunteer, but it really makes me come to life sharing this knowledge with you. And also, when somebody shares their feedback with me that they were able to improve their CV or that they were able to find a job, it gives me a gratification that nothing else does. So that's why I continue to do it. And I'm so happy that you can all be here with me today. So this is not my full-time job. My full-time job is that I work with the United Nations World Food Program. I'm the monitoring and reporting officer in Namibia. Previously, I was working with the Catholic Relief Services and before that, UNDP. I am a graduate of Swansea University and I studied public health. Before that, uh, a long time ago, 2014, I graduated with a bachelor's in dentistry. I had no idea what I wanted to study when I was younger, when I was in school, when I was in high school. I did not have the knowledge of something called a career coach or a career counselor. Of course, there was no AI back then. There was like computers starting to emerge, phones, and so forth. But I did not have that access to that information. And it led me to making a lot of choices that were not right for me per se. Um, and this is how I started this journey of learning about myself, exploring my different career interests, and seeing how I could pass this knowledge on to others. I have written a book, a career book called No More Job Secrets, and I am currently in the process of becoming a certified career coach. So, the objectives for today's session, I want you to leave the session with more self awareness. And this is the hardest part about choosing a suitable career, knowing yourself better so that you can make career choices that are better for you. It is really the hardest part of choosing your career and making life choices in general. The higher your self awareness, the more you will be able to make decisions with confidence. So it's not any different for your career. Um, it's not any different for your career. Simon, 1 second. Can you just confirm that the session is recording? It is, right? Because so that we can have the full 4 sessions uploaded. I can't see if
Yeah,
it is.
I think
Okay.
something happened. No, I think it's recorded already. Yeah, no, it's been recording.
All right. Okay. So the first session is for you to leave the session with more self-awareness. I will take you through a series of tests. I will tell you the old school way of doing this and also a more advanced way of doing this. You can do either or you can mix both. Um, there are some practical tests, practical components, so it's not all theoretical. If you are using a laptop, you can follow along and try the tests as we speak. If not, I will share the slides and share the sessions. And then you can try later on because 1 hour and a half may be a little bit too short for us to go through everything. Well, we're going to talk about different career identity components, and these are your personality type, your skills, your interests, your purpose, and your values. We're going to talk more about these and what they mean, and how you can find those out if you have no idea what these things are. I'll also tell you about some AI tools if you want to conduct deep research. A lot of people use AI to research different things or to ask AI different questions, but they're not aware that you can use AI to even research yourself. So we're going to go a little bit through that just so that you can have an understanding and an awareness of how you can leverage AI tools to get a deep understanding of yourself. So wherever you are in your career, I hope that you can leave with a little uh, with a little shift in how you're able to connect the dots in your own career. So first, I'm going to talk about a model, a career model called the Career Diamond Model, where all these tests come in and how you can go from exploration to a decision. And then we're going to talk about the different career identity components so that you can understand yourself. I'll tell you how to put it all together, and then we'll do Q&A. You can ask me questions about this session, and if you have any questions about the previous sessions as well, you can feel free to let me know. If there's time, I'll answer them. If not, you can reach out on LinkedIn. So career planning steps. If you are in a phase where you just graduated from a bachelor's, from a master's, or you are in school and you're still making a decision on what university you will study in, so that ultimately you are making a decision on your career, or if you know anybody in that situation. The first thing is you need to do a self-assessment to understand yourself. So we're going to talk about how to know your personality type. And this helps not only when making a decision in your career, it also helps if you want to interact better with others in the workplace. You can also, the second part is your values, and your values are so important. The third part is your interests, what your interests are, and how you can leverage those into a job that makes you money. And then the last thing is your purpose. The purpose is a little bit complicated and it might be hard for somebody who is at the initial stages of their career or somebody who's a young student to conduct an exercise to find their purpose, but we can talk briefly about it as well. And then we're going to talk about career exploration, how to evaluate career trends and complete an information search of the job market. And the last part is putting it all together and setting a timeline to achieve your goals. So the Career Diamond Model is a very famous career coaching uh, model or tool. And the idea of the model is that you go from awareness, you want to know yourself first. So let's say you just graduated, let's say with a master's of public policy. You know your theory, but you have no idea what this degree can translate to when you're entering the job market. So the idea of this model is awareness first. You understand yourself because you don't want to end up applying for jobs that don't suit you. Let's say you're a complete extrovert and you did a degree in computer science. You want to work with people, you want to work in the industry, but you end up being like a stay-at-home coder. So although you do have the technical skills, but because the job does not suit your personality, you're more likely to burn out faster, you're more likely to be unfulfilled, you're more likely to be unsatisfied in your job. So it's not just, oh, gibberish or fluffy content of why do I need to know myself? I just want to get a job so that I can make money, so that I can buy things. It's not always so black and white. You spend a considerable amount of time at your job. So the more you understand yourself, the more you know your personality, your values, your skills, the more likely you are to thrive in your job. The second thing is knowing the job market. So, understanding the world of work, knowing what your degree can translate into when you enter the job market, and then integrating these pieces of information. So, integrating your knowledge of yourself, it's as if you're looking in the mirror, and then integrating the knowledge of the job market, looking outside your window to see what jobs exist, and then knowing your career, triangulating these together, which comes into a diamond so that you can make a decision. So this is the idea in essence of the career diamond model. And this diamond can repeat over and over again in your life. So you can, at a certain stage of your life, you can your personality can be more introverted, or at this stage of your life, you want a stay-at-home job, and then you gain more skills, or you do a master's, or you do a PhD. And again, this diamond may repeat multiple times in your career. So it's not like one diamond for the rest of your life. So this is the model we're going to be talking about today. So the first part is knowing yourself, or the career identity components. So there's 5 career identity components, and the first one is your personality. So your personality, You take yourself wherever you go. So whatever job you do, wherever you go, you will be taking yourself. So your personality is quite important. You don't want to change your personality when you are at the workplace. You still want to feel like yourself. So while applying for a job, there are some personality tests that you can take. I'll show you one right now that I like that is free, um, that can help you decide based on a series of questions your personality type overall. Of course, these personality tests or those online tests in general, when you take them over periods of time, your answers can change. So you will get a different personality type. That is fine. Um, I'll show you in essence how to do it and how you can use that information. So your personality, the test will ask you a series of questions like what are your lifestyle preferences? Do you prefer to be indoors or outdoors? Would you rather be by yourself or with lots of people? Do you consider yourself to be quiet or calm and active? Such types of questions. I'll show you what the test looks like. One second. Okay, so this is what the test looks like. A free personality test. It asks you a series of questions. You regularly make new friends. Let's say I don't actually. So I'm going to put this over here. Complex and novel ideas excite you more than simple and straightforward ones. They don't. So I disagree. Usually feel more persuaded by what resonates emotionally than by factual arguments. I totally agree. So this is my personality. After you answer a series of questions, you will get a personality type. So this is my personality type. I'm an advocate. I've taken this test before. And then it gives you an explanation of your personality type. So I've taken this test. It's a series of questions. It takes 15 or 20 minutes and it's free. I'll put the link in the chat in a moment if you want to try it later. And then it gives you an understanding of your personality type. So it tells me I'm introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging. I'll tell you what these things mean in just a moment. Let me just put the link in the chat. So what are the personality types? This personality test, this is a very, very famous personality test. Some of you may have taken it before. So it analyzes 5 aspects based on your answers. Your energy, are you introverted or extroverted? And does this make a difference when you're applying for a job? Absolutely. If you are purely extroverted and you are applying for jobs that require you to be purely indoors, it might it might drain you very quickly because the things that energize you, you're not doing, and vice versa. So the description is, do you prefer to be alone or do you recharge socially? Your mind, are you observant? Are you practical? Or are you intuitive, imaginative, and curious? Nature, are you thinking or feeling? Do you prioritize logic when you are making a decision? Or do you prioritize empathy and emotion? Neither is right or wrong. People are different, right? People are different. They have different personality types. So do you prioritize logic versus empathy? Tactics, are you judging or perspective? Do you prefer things to be very structured or do you like things to be more spontaneous? So do you prefer structure or spontaneity? And the last one is identity. Are you more assertive? Are you more confident or are you more sensitive and perfectionistic? So these are the 16 personality types. I've added the link in the chat. Once you've completed the test, it will tell you some personality types, and it will tell you as well how you thrive in relationships, how you will thrive in a career, and so forth. So the first part of your career identity is yourself, your personality. Okay, so that's the first one. Your career identity component number one. And the first one was personality. There's different personalities. Once you've done this test, as for everything we're going to do during this session, once you've done this test, take a note. So for example, let's say you've done the test and you are an adventurer. You've gotten this one, ISFP. So that means you are an introvert, you are feeling, you are prospecting. I don't remember what the last one is, but let's say you have this personality type, or you are an architect, INTJ. So you will write this little acronym down and keep it. It means you are introverted, intuitive, judging, and what was the last one? Introverted, perspective, and judging. So once you have a personality type, write it on the side, and I will tell you how to put everything together. So if you've just joined, because a few people just have, we're talking about career identity components. Your career identity is composed of 5 things. Your personality, and you can take an online test and find out your personality type. The second thing is your values. So values are very important. If you don't know what a value is something that is a fundamental or a core belief to you that helps people or groups of people determine what is important to them versus what is not important to them. So if you are living inauthentically in any way of your life, if something triggers you, it probably provokes some sort of value that you have. So if you're living authentically, that means your life is aligning by your values. Let's say you have a value that is very, very important, which is family. You prioritize your family over everything else, but you get a job offer that is great. It pays you really well, but you only get to spend a week every month or a week every 2 months with your family. The rest of the job is abroad. This job does not fulfill your values and it's likely to leave you drained. So values are very important. Your career success and your satisfaction are linked very closely to doing work that is consistent with your values. So it's not just theoretical science. Values are very, very important. And I think part of the reason why I shifted my career from being a dentist to working in international development is because my values were not being met. So I wanted to work somewhere really prestigious that was important to me. I wanted to work where I was helping people. I wanted to be outdoors. And all these things were not being met through my personality and my values by being a clinician. So I always felt miserable. That's why I decided to make a change. So, knowing your career values helps you to assess your current work situation. If you're working somewhere, but somehow you leave every day leaving drained, leaving sad, feeling depressed, feeling like you do not want to go in the morning, all these are signs that potentially you may be working in a place that does not align with your values. So, knowing your values earlier on helps you assess your current work situation if you're working. It helps you plan for the future. It helps you find the right job opportunities and decide what direction to take your career in. I'll show you 2 tools that I found online that can help you identify your values. Okay, so this is one of them. I'll also put the link in the chat. So when you're doing all these career tests, I advise you not to overthink it. So answer intuitively with the first answer that you feel aligns with your own piece, not what somebody else thinks, but what do you think? So for example, helping others. This is the link I just put, and it's a link for values. There's many free online career tests. You don't necessarily have to use the ones that I'm mentioning, but these ones are free, they're easy to use, and I've tried them myself. So for example, helping others, maybe this is very important to me, so I'm going to put it over here. Achieving outcomes, this is important to me. Taking risks is not important to me. Teamwork, maybe not important. Solving problems is not important to me. It's not what anybody thinks. So you can't think like, oh, career progression, that must be important in life. I need to have career progression. If it's not important to you, these are your values, not anybody else's. There aren't values that are right or wrong. These are values that are important to you only. So once you're done with this, all the values over here, dragging and dropping values that are important to you and only you, by ranking them from most important to least important, you will know the values that are most important to you or very important to you. Again, similar to how you took note of your personality type, once you're done with the exercise, take a note of your values. So over here, for example, I'm going to write my values are helping others, communication, career progression, and so forth. And I'll tell you why you will need this information in a bit. I know you're not doing these exercises now, but maybe you're watching the recording later or you're trying this out later. You need to keep track of the information as you do the tests so that you can make use of them and translate them into useful information. So this was one of the exercises for the values. There is another link that I found that was also quite good. It's also a free psychology test. And the good part about this test is that it helps you really, really nail down your most important values. So, for example, over here, it tells you pick your top 20 values. After you've chosen the top 20 values, it will tell you narrow those down to 10. And then it will tell you narrow those down to 5. So you really, really have to think. Like by the time you get to only 5, you will really think like, what do I value more? Being with my family, my immediate family, or finding like love or romantic relationship? Do I value money more or do I value flexibility more? When you're choosing only 5, you will even start to reflect more and understand what matters to you more than anybody else. So, this will help you make decisions because in real life, sometimes you have to choose. It is rare that you will find a job that has every single thing that you dream of. So, you need to prioritize what is important to you. And by doing this exercise on values and narrowing it down from 20 and then 10 and then 5, by the time you get to 5, you will know the top 5 things that are most important to you or your top 5 values. So let's say, for example, can somebody type in the chat something that stands out to them that is an important value? A few people. You can just look through this and tell me what is, from these things, what is an important value to you? There's achievement, adventure, art, attractiveness, cooperation, courage, faith, flexibility, growth, health. What matters to you? Just tell me a few in the chat. Creativity, diligence, compassion, flexibility. What else? Growth. Okay. So these are things that matter to you. So for example, somebody might say flexibility is very important to me, and to you, it might not make a difference at all. That's absolutely fine. This is the purpose of the exercise, knowing what matters to you. Achievement. Some people might just want to go to work and they want to make a salary. That's it. They're not concerned about achievement. They actually want a job that is repetitive in its tasks. Honesty. Great. So you get the gist of the exercise. You can choose the values that are most important to you. By the time you are done with the exercise, you will be able to find out your top 5. Somebody wrote stability, health. Good. So as you can see, people have different values. When you do this exercise, you can also take note when you're doing your top 20 of things that are not important to you at all. So for example, something that is complex might not be a value for you at all, or let's call it an anti-value. So if you are working in a job that has complexity and you hate complexity, it is one of the things that burn you out. This is already a burnout factor. So as much as you should know your top values, you should know the things that don't stand out to you at all. Be alert to those things because if you are working in a job that has things that you hate or dislike or are against your values, these are burnout skills or burnout factors, and you do not want to be burned out in a job. So, this was the second part of your career identity, your values. The third part is your interests. So, the first one was your personality, the second one was your values, and then the third one is career interests. Career interests. So, there is a test that we will also go through right now. There's a psychologist called John Holland that developed a test or a model that identifies 6 personality types that align with career preferences. So the first personality test that we took was more of a general personality test so that you could get a gist of your overall personality. This second model or this second test is called the career interests test or the Risic or the Holland code, developed by a psychologist called John Holland. And this psychologist believed that people should be happy at their jobs. they should thrive, they should do things that they're really good at and that they really enjoy. And he developed this model not to say you are only one thing, but to say that if you take this test, you will get different percentages, and people are percentages or mixes of different things. So, for example, you may be 70% artistic, but you're also 20% enterprising and 10% social. That means that you will most probably thrive in careers that are artistic, but you still enjoy entrepreneurship or you have entrepreneurship skills. You're still a social person and you would enjoy a skill that allows you to interact with others, like being a nurse, or let's say being a vet, or being a doctor. So each person, after taking this test, they get a code called the RISA code. So each person, according to the scientist, will get a code saying, let's say, your top three letters, according to this test, are, let's say, investigative, artistic, and social. So I'll show you what this test looks like. And I'll send you the link in case anybody wants to try it. So this is the third test and the third link for something called a career interest profile. The idea behind this test, it's 60 questions, but it goes by really, really fast. The idea is that you answer authentically. Like, for example, if the test is asking you, do you like to play a musical instrument? Or would you like to play a musical instrument? It's not asking you if you can. Does this sound like something that you would enjoy doing? Maybe I don't know how to play a musical instrument, but it sounds interesting to me. So answer according to your gut of whether you would enjoy this or not. This is how you can get a true reflection or a true understanding of your own belief and your own interests. So this is the third test for the people that just joined. And again, it's telling me this is not a test. There's no right or wrong answers as we agreed for the values, as we agreed for the personality. There are no right or wrong answers. So answer authentically. Try to answer what feels right to you and not anybody else. So, for example, building kitchen cabinets. Maybe you've never built a kitchen cabinet in your life, but that sounds like something that is totally interesting to you. Laying bricks, maybe you're like, oh, I wouldn't enjoy that. I don't like being out in the sun. It sounds very manual. Writing books or plays. Once you're done with this test, you will get a code. So it will tell you, let's say you are, I can quickly try to put different things, but it will give you a percentage of saying like you are 20% artistic, 30% this, and then 10% that. So you can take the test, you cannot skip questions, and it's 60 questions, but you can answer the different questions and then it will give you a code. For example, I'm not going to take up a lot of time, but for example, let's say my three letters after doing the test are, I'm going to put social, artistic, and realistic. For example, okay, I'm just going to put an example that these are my three top codes. So this was the third test. Once you're done with the model, you will get your three top letters, or you will get a variation of the different codes, and then you can find out my top three, my three highest numbers are this and that and that. If you are a realistic personality type, it means you prefer hands-on practical activities, physical work, over paperwork or teamwork. So maybe things like being a builder, the question that we saw. It means you would thrive in a career as a construction worker, as a farmer, as an architect. You're a realistic personality type. As we agreed, no right or wrong answers. If your primary Holland code or your primary RISA code is being investigative, it means you're somebody who is analytical, somebody who is intellectual, enjoys research and problem solving. So the person that said, I'm a biologist, I'm a chemist, I'm a pharmacist, I'm a programmer, these people are investigative. The third one is being artistic. People like graphic designers, artists, musicians, interior designers, all these people are artistic people. So if your primary Holland code or your primary RISA code is being an artist, it means you would thrive in such sample careers. The fourth one is somebody who is social, somebody who's empathetic, supportive, enjoys helping others. So you would thrive in a career, let's say even as a career coach, a counselor, a social worker, or a nurse. The third one was enterprising, means somebody who is persuasive, ambitious, enjoys leadership. You would thrive in a position as a lawyer. Somebody said earlier, I wanted to be a lawyer since I was a child. So maybe they had these skills since they were younger. They were persuasive, they enjoyed leadership, they enjoyed business, they enjoyed interacting with others, they were enterprising, or even a politician or a diplomat. Conventional is the last one, somebody who is organized, detail oriented, prefers structure and routine. So if that's your personality type, it's unlikely for one of your values to be change or complexity because you enjoy routine. You want to go to work and do the same thing again and again. So if you know that one of your values is comfort, routine, doing a career that is not conventional will drain you out and will burn you out quickly. So I think now you're starting to see how the different career elements fit in together. So this was the third one. The first one we talked about was personality. And the second one we talked about was um, your values. The third one was your career interests, the Risic or the Holland Code. And the fourth one now is your skills. So for your skills, skills are something that you can do, something that you can do um, and that you love. So I struggled a little bit to find a test for skills, but this one was quite good. It is from the National Career Service in the government in the UK. I will show you the link. And if somebody wants a worksheet on finding your skills, I can share one later. So this one is through the government in the UK. I will share the link as well, and it also tells you some jobs that you can do, especially if somebody's in the UK. So you answer a series of questions, and then also it gives you a code at the end, or it tells you specific jobs that you would thrive in based on your skills. So this is the third one, and it talks about skills. One second. So the first thing that we talked about was your personality, then your values, then your career interests, and then skills. Not only skills that you can do, but skills that you love to use. So passion and competency, not only competency alone, if you want to find a job that you really, really thrive in. When you're doing these tests, this is not only an intellectual exercise, you're not choosing between words, but it's an emotional exercise. So heart, then intellect, not intellect, then heart. So your story, how you feel, then your skills, not skills and then stories. This is how you will end up finding something that is closer to the sector that you want to work in. So this is the third one, that is skills. The last one is purpose. As I said at the beginning of the conversation, purpose is a little bit tricky, especially if you are at the starting point of your especially if you are at the starting point of your career. It might be hard for you to answer questions on your purpose. What is a purpose? Does somebody know their life purpose? Or can somebody tell us what they think a purpose is? You can share a few with me in the chat. Let's see if people how self-aware people are, because this is always a tricky one. I'll tell you the definition until people start typing what they think their life purpose is. So a life purpose is a central personal aim or direction that gives your life meaning, something that you feel gives your life meaning, that guides your decisions and provides a sense of significance. So it often involves doing something that you feel is greater than yourself. Okay? This is your motivating force, and this is what moves you to achieve your goals, helps you navigate different challenges, And ultimately, if you're living your purpose, you will have a great satisfaction, a resilience, and well being. So, this is your life purpose. I'll tell you, so usually, as I said, it's quite difficult for people that are at the starting point of their career to find their life purpose or to know their life purpose. When I am coaching others, there is a series of questions that we usually go through to help people, especially people who like to journal or reflect. This is somehow what the exercise looks like. One second, let me just expand so you can see better. So, helping somebody understand what do they love to do, for example, when they have spare time? What aspects do they thoroughly enjoy? What do you naturally do well? What are the causes that you feel passionate about? What are the greatest successes that you've had in your life? What are the lessons that you've learned? What do you dream about? And then you can find the themes that emerge through this exercise. After you've done this exercise, and again, this is a little bit hard to do, but after you've done this exercise, it gives you a sense of clarity on what your life purpose is, especially again, as I said, somebody that has a little bit more experience. You will have two components of this life purpose, something called an essence and something called an expression. So, for example, my life purpose is helping others through coaching, teaching, mentoring. Um, or this person wrote, my life purpose is enhancing peace in the world through, let's say, working in the UN or through volunteering with the Red Cross or whatever. So this, in essence, is the purpose exercise. Again, a little bit trickier to do, but I'll tell you a little more clues on how to do it in a second. So the purpose exercise has two components, something called an essence and something called an expression. The essence part remains unchanged. So if my essence is helping women or helping others, this part remains unchanged. So for example, my life purpose is bringing people together. So this is the essence, it remains unchanged, to make the world a more beautiful place, to help women find their own voice. If you answer a series of questions, maybe different themes will emerge, and through that, you will be able to find the common thing. And for me, really, the most fabulous part about finding your purpose is when you truly, truly discover your purpose, you will find that you have been doing it all along. So if you're able to really do a little bit of introspection, increase your self-awareness, and find what is it that you continuously do that you have been doing all along. This is your purpose. Whether you're doing that at home, at work, with your family, with others, through your volunteer work, the thing that you do, that is you, the thing that you've been doing all along. A purpose doesn't suddenly emerge, and nobody um, is in this world without a purpose. So it is worthwhile trying to ask yourself these questions to find out what your purpose is. The part that changes in the purpose statement is the expression. Through what? So, for example, adding value. Let me read Mawish's purpose: to add value in people's lives that could lessen their suffering through research, pharmaceutical services, by transferring my knowledge through mentorship or training. So, the essence is adding value in people's life. This is a little bit broad, but the expression is the different things that she's been doing: research, pharmaceutical services, mentorship, or training. So the expression is the way in which the essence is being expressed. So this is a purpose. This is not particularly necessary or mandatory when you're doing your career identity components. So if you have not done the purpose part, it's fine. You can still do a career self-exploration or a career identity analysis just by doing a personality test, a career identity test, which is the RISEC or the Holland Code, and then doing a test to know your values, and doing a test to know your skills. So let's say the fifth part of the equation is optional. If you can do it, then great. If not, then you can leave it out. So after you have looked in the mirror and have done a little bit of self-exploration to understand what skills, what values, what is your personality type. The second part is doing a career exploration. This one, I honestly prefer that it's done old school. After you have an understanding of yourself, you then do this old school. You start online by reviewing career trends. You check labor market trends to know which fields will be dominant and which occupational trends are predicted for fast growth. You talk to people in the field. You try to shadow people at work. So let's say you're really confused between becoming a civil engineer or an architect. You don't know which one you will enjoy more. You can try to shadow those people, participate in an internship, talk to people working in these fields. There's only so much that you can do online or using AI or using tests. And I'll tell you at the end of this presentation the problem with using these tests. At a certain level, you need to do exploration old school. You need to dig beneath the surface, find out what is really happening on the ground. How are people enjoying the careers that they're doing? Would you thrive in such an environment or not? So, career exploration, I prefer that you do it old school. You do your research, your deep research. You try to see things for yourself, do things for yourself to find out what careers will suit you. So, this is career exploration. The third part of this presentation, so we said the first part is doing an assessment. The second part is a career exploration. Let's say, is somebody in the audience confused between two jobs maybe, or two careers that they're not sure which one is a better fit for them? Type them. Say job A, I'm confused between being an English teacher, or job B, I'm confused between being, um, let's say, a coach, a career coach, or something like whatever it is. Just tell me in the chat if somebody's confused between two jobs. We can use an example from the audience. Nobody's confused. Everybody knows exactly what job they should be doing. Someone be brave. All right, somebody, Anaki says statistician versus data analyst. Okay, so let's use that as an example. So let's say Anaki has done the the tests and now she wants to put it all together. She's done the personality tests and also she has done some career exploration. She has found out that she can either be a statistician or a data analyst, but she doesn't know which one she should go for. So your career identity components, as we said, are these 5 things. I'll tell you how to triangulate them or put them together using old school method, paper and a pencil, and then I'll tell you how to do them using more modern methods or using AI. So the first thing is life purpose. Let's say hypothetically, Anaki's purpose is adding value in people's lives to lessen their suffering. Okay, I'm reading somebody else's purpose. Her interests, let's say her interests are um, she's social, she's artistic, she's realistic. Her values, let's say her values are health and wealth and creativity. Her skills are that she's really good with math, she's really good with Excel. Okay, more people are opening up. So the skills, the motivated skills you enjoy using the most. Again, not necessarily skills that you can do, because some people are great at certain things, but they do not enjoy doing them at all. So some people, for example, can tell you that I'm really, really good at data analysis, but I don't enjoy it at all. I would rather be in the outside with people. I want to interact with the community. So your motivated skills are skills you enjoy using the most. Okay, so let's say um, somebody has done those exercises. Let's say go marketing versus product analyst, or Sharbola programmer versus graphic designer. So let's say Sharbola is doing this exercise. The first thing that you will do is my life purpose is to write your essence and write your expression, is to, let's say, help people through designing products or creating marketing campaigns or whatever it is that the expressions are. My top 3 career interests Over here, you will put your Holland code. If you want to do this through a paper and pen or a Word document. So you say, my Holland code is social, artistic, realistic. Remember the Holland code that we talked about. And then my top 10 career values. So the values that we were dragging and dropping, what's most important to you? So for example, you were right, my top values are money, integrity, health, family, finding a romantic relationship, whatever is most valuable to you. Um, and then what are your never valued career values? Remember, we said as much as it is important to know the skills that are valuable to you, you should also know the skills that do not matter to you at all. These are called your burnout skills or your never valued career values. So pay attention to these as well. And then the last thing is the motivated skills, skills that you enjoy using. Okay, so if you want to put those on paper and pen, after you've done those tests, you can fill out this paper. Okay? So this is the old-fashioned way or the old school way to do it. A lot of people still prefer this method. A lot of career coaches use these methods and they're absolutely fine. Um, when you're putting it all together, all the tests that you've done, you will again put your answers on an Excel sheet or a Word document. So for example, I put these as a demo or as a sample. So for example, Dr. Mohammed, who's saying, my daughter is asking pharmacy versus medical laboratory technology. So for example, let's say your daughter has done those tests and she has explored the market. She knows that these are the two jobs that she's confused between. She wants to study something that will allow her to enter those fields, or she's already studying something and she has two job offers and she's confused. So let's say over here, she will put pharmacy and medical laboratory technology. And then for each one of her values that she has discovered that this is a value to her, she will provide a scoring. So for example, moral fulfillment. Does she think that she will be morally fulfilled more by being a pharmacist or a medical laboratory technologist? Influencing people. Maybe, according to my knowledge, I might be wrong. Maybe as a pharmacist, you will be interacting more with people because you're in the pharmacy, people come in with different medical problems, you may provide them with consultations and so forth. So influencing people, over here you can give this job a 5, but for job B, which is medical laboratory technologist, you're not interacting with people per se, so you might give this job a 1 or a 2. Creativity. Maybe for a pharmacist, you're not so creative. You can give this job a 1. For the medical laboratory technologist, because it's a research job, there may be more room to innovate. So let's say you will give this job a 4 or a 5. Work-life balance. Maybe as a lab technologist, you will have a more stable routine. As a pharmacist, you may have night shifts or hospital shifts or so forth. So you may have less work-life balance. So you can give this one a 1 and so forth. So for each job, from a score of 1 to 5, you can give this job a rating, and at the end, you can add them and you will have a total. Is this part clear? This is the old school version of doing this, or the old way, not the old way, the traditional way of triangulating your different values. And because these things are more abstract or people don't really understand them, when you tell somebody, what is more valuable to you, influencing people or creativity? It sounds very abstract, but when you put a number to it, it has a more tangible feeling, and then you can provide a score that you can compare against. So you could say, for example, oh, job B has a score of 15 and job A has a score of 11. So this one weighs a bit heavier, so maybe I should take this job offer. Okay. Um, she's with me watching you and she's happy. Okay, what is your daughter's name, Dr. Mohammed? You can also let us know. The same thing for skills. So let's say, for example, Dr. Mohammed's daughter, who's next to him right now, who's also watching, Arisha. So let's say Arisha, for example, is still confused between being a pharmacist and being a medical laboratory technologist. So over here, she will write pharmacist, and over here, she will write medical laboratory technologist. For pharmacists, you may not be doing a lot of writing, right? A patient gives you a prescription, and then you give them the medication or you provide a consultation. So over here for writing, it may be a 1 or so. But the medical laboratory technologist, you may be doing more research, so there's more room for writing. So maybe over here you will give the job a 4. Time management, social media, graphic design, whatever your skills are or your motivated skills, the skills you enjoy doing, you will write all the skills down here and then give each job between the jobs you're confused a ranking. This allows you to have weight or to have a comparison with numbers that you can easily say, okay, this job has a score of 65 and the other job has a score of uh, 70. So this job I will thrive more in because it aligns more with the things that I'm good at, or it aligns more with my career interest profile. I'm going to share the links for the recordings again because people are still asking about them. So this is for the values, for the skills, job A, job B. Of course, if you're still confused between job C, job D, you can do the same thing. Just add a different column on a paper and pen, try to give a scoring, and then ultimately you can find out which one weighs heavier according to the things that matter most to you. Is that clear so far? Can somebody give me like a thumbs up or a heart, or let me know in the comments if you're following along, if you want to try this exercise yourself or with somebody that you know. Okay, Dr. Mohammed and Arisha are saying yes, which is good. Yes, very good question. Do you add the scores for values and skills collectively for job A and job B with equal weight? Yes. So when I do this exercise, I'll show you how it looks like. I'll show you how it looks like at the end. But yes, things will have the same weight. Unless, I mean, this is up to you. Normally things will have the same weight, and then you will add everything together. So over here, you can add everything for job A, you will have a total. For the values, you will have a total. For the skills, the same for job A, job B. You will have a total for the personality. You will have a total again for the career interests. So using the same example so that you don't get confused. So for example, introverted, let's say we're using the same example again of being a pharmacist versus being, what was it? I don't remember. A lab specialist or a lab technologist. So somebody that is introverted. Fatima, okay, I will answer your question in a second about sharing the life purpose document. Um, so, for example, being introverted, somebody who's a pharmacist, it may be a little bit difficult if you're introverted because you're interacting with a new person every minute. But being a lab technologist, it may be a job that aligns more. So over here, maybe you would give this a 5 versus you would give this a 1. So everything would be tallied together or added up together, and then you would have a score for job A and then for job B. If you're doing this on Excel, it will be something that looks like this for the people that are asking. So a very simple Excel sheet, you can write your life purpose here. So for example, let's say my life purpose is helping others through research or through writing or through whatever. So this would be your life purpose, and then you would compare the jobs, give them a score. Over here, the legend is from 3 to -1. Doesn't really matter. Negative numbers confuse me, so I prefer to use 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's just easier. It's the same result. Whatever you feel more comfortable with. If something is very congruent with your personality, with your skills, with your values, you give it a higher score, and vice versa. Introverted, your personality type, the 16 personalities test we talked about, you would give the job a score, and ultimately you would have a score at the end. Your values, let's say your value is health, money, then you would compare. Being a pharmacist would give you more money, being a lab specialist would perhaps give you less money, and so forth. And then ultimately you would have a score for the different jobs that would help you make a choice. So this one you can easily create on your own on Excel. You don't need me to send you anything. All you have to do is do the different tests and put them all together on a document. putting it all together using AI. So if you do not like the traditional method or the paper and pen method, you can still put it together or using AI. So for example, this is a prompt that I found. Okay, it's not opening. Let me just put the prompt quickly in the chat, and then we can go through it together. Me a second. Okay, can you all see my screen? I'll put the link in the chat as well. Okay, perfect. So there are some prompts that I found online. If you attended the career session that I did, career session number 2, which was AI tools for career development, the person that was co-presenting was called Rishan, and Rishan has an AI tool for careers called Hiring Coach, and he has written these prompts, these different prompts, which can be used for career development and career analysis. So you can still use these prompts if you want to identify your most important career accomplishments. You can use ChatGPT and, for example, copy this prompt and then find out. Let me open ChatGPT on my end. So I copied the prompt. Okay, just gonna log in. So the person that is saying my power is shutting down, I don't understand what your question is, but if your question is if I will share the presentation and the slides, yes, I will. I will share them on my LinkedIn, and then I will also share them. I will also share them using the British Council shares them, and I also upload them on YouTube. So the AI prompts the AI prompt library that I shared has a couple of prompts that are really good. What you can do is write this prompt and give it to ChatGPT and then upload your CV. Before doing this, make sure that you have updated your CV so that the AI gives you accurate results or accurate tools. Over here, I've used a previous CV that I have on my computer. This also works really, really well if there is a functionality on ChatGPT that I cannot open right now that says, oh, here, it's right here. It says deep research. So over here, I'll show you what this prompt does in a second. It wasn't working a little while ago, but I'll show you what it does. So over here, if you have, yes, so if you click on the link, Amira, if you click on the link, it says AI prompt library. So this is what you should get. I'll post it again in the chat in case. Okay, no problem. I can put the prompt, yes, but you can also get it easily yourself. So this is the prompt. I'm going to put it in the chat. Okay, so I put the prompt in the chat in case somebody's following along. So let's say, for example, you do not know what your skills are. So I'm going to copy this prompt in the CV pre-application, and you can put it on ChatGPT. So over here, it tells me this provided me with my achievement, my career achievements to date. So over here, let's say if I want to ask it, this was the second prompt about my skills. So I asked ChatGPT about my skills. All I did was copied the prompt and I provided it with my CV. Then ChatGPT will tell me some of my skills. So it tells me that I'm really good at cross-functional project leadership. I'm really good at strategic reporting and data-driven insights. I'm really good at gender mainstreaming. I'm leaving. Could you please share with me the online course? There is no online course, but I will share the slides for sure. So this is one way that you can do it. If you do not want to do a series of online tests, you can use AI and upload an updated version of your CV. If you did not attend the session on CV writing, I put the link for the recording in the chat, how you can have an impactful CV. And we talked about why it's not possible for AI to do this for you 100%. You need to do some introspection and include those achievements or those metrics and the impact on your CV, you need to include it yourself. So in order for this to work, you need to have an updated version of your CV. So over here, I'm doing the modern way, which is I'm asking ChatGPT or I'm asking another AI like Perplexity, what are my key skills? So AI is telling me that my skills are this one. I'm multilingual. I am good at stakeholder engagement. I am a thought leader and so forth. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to copy this prompt, identify sectors and roles to explore. So I'm going to copy this prompt again. I just copied the prompt. The prompts are already there and the link is in the chat. So all I'm going to do here is go to ChatGPT and then click on this little plus sign. Okay. When I click on the little plus sign, it's going to tell me deep research. I'm going to click on deep research. The only downside about this is it takes a little bit of time. So I'm going to copy the prompt over here and it says you're a career, sorry, you are a career expert, coach, or a strategist. Based on the resume I provide, perform the following in one single complete response. Give me the top 10 industries I should explore. So remember, we said that you need to understand yourself and then know the job market and then know your career. So if you do not know the job market, even after you've done all those tests, such a prompt will help you identify sectors or industries that you can get a job in. So for example, I'm going to tell it you are an expert career coach and resume strategist. I'm going to copy the prompt as it is, but I'm also going to tell ChatGPT, knowing my personality type, I'm going to give it a little bit more information, more than just the CV. Because on your CV, you're not going to write, oh, I'm very introverted, extroverted. These things can be implied. But in addition to my CV that I'm going to upload for ChatGPT, I will also tell it my personality type is, let's say, introverted. I don't remember what were the other things. Um, let's say I'm introverted and then my values are health, wealth, integrity, and creativity. I'm just giving it a hypothetical response so that it gives me a good answer. My career interests are social, enterprising, and realistic, and my skills are as above. Okay. As you all know, ChatGPT doesn't mind typos. So I'm just going to type this over here and it's going to do a deep research. Normally, this takes about 6 to 7 minutes, okay? So you can let it run and then it will give me a career analysis based on, so I'm just going to I'm just going to let this run. It's going to ask me a series of questions. Are you looking to stay within the UN? I'm going to say yes. Are there any specific countries you would like to work in? I'm going to say open to anywhere. And then, do you want me to factor in public speaking as a core part of your career? I'm also going to say yes. So let's say over here, it's going to start running a deep analysis. It's going to start the research. And as I told you, this takes a little bit of time. So just as you do a deep research on a topic, ChatGPT can also do deep research on yourself. This also works on other AI models like Perplexity or Claude. I'm just saying ChatGPT because this is the one that people are more or most familiar with, but it works equally well with the AI model that you're comfortable with. I'm going to let this run and then we will come back to it. We can just go through the remaining slides so that we don't run out of time. Okay, so while this runs, we talked about two ways to put it all together. You can do the old school way or the traditional way, the typical career coaching way, which is through doing it by paper and pen, giving everything a rank based on congruence, tallying those scores or adding them up together, and then having a list of rankings based on the two careers you're confused between or the two jobs that you're confused between. If you have no idea which jobs you should be looking between, or you're still lost, you feel you have a very wide range of skills, but you're not sure which jobs to look between, you can still use AI to help you do a market analysis based on your own CV. Make sure that you are uploading your career, your personality, your career interests, your purpose, if you know it, your values. All these things help AI to give you a more accurate response. And make sure as well that you are giving AI the most updated version of your resume or your CV so that it can help provide you with more accurate results. So while AI does this, it's going to take about 6 to 7 minutes. When it's done, it's going to give me a rank table of industries. It's going to give me the top job titles that I should be searching for and a fully generated image with labels, a legend, and a title. This is the prompt. There is a limitation to all these tests that we spoke about. Whether it's the career personality test, your career interest tests, or other tests like the Myers-Briggs or other personality tests, it cannot tell you what job to choose ultimately. The tests, what they do is that they tell you what jobs were chosen or what were the answers of people who chose similar answers to you. It can tell you what family you belong to as much as possible, but it doesn't mean, oh, the test is telling me that I should be a program manager. That's the only job that I will thrive between. It can just give you a starting point if you do not know where to start looking or what skills you can use to translate your skills into a job in the market. So this is the purpose of those tests. So don't think, oh, the test is telling me that I should be an architect or a programmer. That's the only thing that I could do. While this is loading again, we're coming close to the end of the presentation and the end of the end of the career sessions in general. So there's two surprises that I'm working on that are made possible by the British Council. I'm working on an AI tool that will function as a career coach to help people who are struggling in their career, whether they do not know themselves well enough to make a career choice, or they do not know the job market well enough to make a career choice, or they do not know what career they should choose. So that's the first thing that I'm working on. It's an AI tool that will be ready probably by the last quarter of the year or towards the end of the year, and all of you will be able to try it out. The second part is if you've read my first book, No More Job Secrets, I'm working on a workbook now called Some More Job Secrets that has some do-it-yourself career coaching exercises. The person that asked, can I share the life purpose exercise? I cannot share that one because I have not written it myself, but there is an exercise that I developed through Some More Job Secrets. There's one that I developed per se for your life purpose. So the one that I developed, I can share. I don't have a problem with it. The one that I developed, there's a formula called dots. So to find your purpose and connect the dots, I will tell you how you can find out, like write your dreams, your overcomings, the lessons and successes, to find your talents, how do you spend your time, and then your sources of joy. So I can share the one that I worked on myself. The other one is copyrighted, unfortunately. The structure of the workbook is as follows. Know yourself. You'll be able to find your values, your skills, your strength, your interests, your personalities, and so forth. And then know the job market, how to Prepare for an interview, prepare a CV, prepare a cover letter to apply, to network, all those things. And then the last thing is know your career, how you can prepare for the job market, to upskill, to prevent burnout, and to do some self reflection. So we're coming close to the end of the session. Let's see if AI is done. In the meantime, I would really, really, really appreciate it if you can scan the QR code and give me feedback, any feedback that you have on any of the four sessions. If you're attending today, you can also give me feedback on the session today. This will help me and encourage me when I am preparing for future sessions. So if you do have any feedback, you can scan the QR code. I checked ChatGPT and it's it's still loading, but you can scan the QR code and give me any feedback. Um, so yeah, if you're interested in reading the first book, you will find it on Amazon. It's called No More Job Secrets. And if you're interested in following me on LinkedIn, you can find me. My name is Rawan Taha. If you want to send me an email, you can write to me at nomorejobsecrets@gmail.com. Thank you to the British Council for making this possible and for all their support. I wanted to cancel the session today because I was on leave, but they encouraged me to still do it. So I really appreciate all their support and encouragement, and I hope you benefited from the session today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rowan. That was really very beneficial and very insightful session. Can I ask you, please, because many of participants sent to us asking about the recordings. So could you please post your YouTube channel link in the chat box?
No problem. I'm gonna post the three previous sessions again right now,
Yeah.
and then I will. Okay, the link for the evaluation. Okay, good question. Let me also put the link for the evaluation in the chat so that people can click on it easily.
Okay.
So the feedback form, I'll put it in the chat, and if you can take 2 minutes, there you go. You can
It's okay.
complete
We
it.
file after the session. Yeah, for the previous three sessions. So if anyone miss our previous session, so you can easily access the Rawan YouTube channel and enjoy the previous workshops. And at the end of this session and at the end of our Career Boost series sessions, a big thank you to all our alumni for joining us for the final session and for the rest of the session. And I would like to remind you, please take a time and complete the feedback survey and keep an eye on our global network website. Last thing I want to highlight, because we received many inquiries that many alumni asking about a certificate for these workshops. Unfortunately, we will not be providing any certificates, but you will find other career development seminars and modules on our global network, and some of them are providing certificates, but it's more advanced and for time that maybe bigger than the one we are offering now. So again, I encourage you to engage with our global network, and definitely will find many opportunities that will be really beneficial for your career journey. Thank you again, Rawan, and thank you everyone, and wishing you all the best of luck. We will be sharing all our recordings with you via email. Thank you and enjoy your day. Thank you,
Thank
Rawan.
you. Thank you, Sam. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye.